We sure witnessed a long time coming victory last time out at Hillside when DJ Kurtis brought it to victory lane for the first time in his short career in the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series. Will we see something similar happen today, I wonder, as the trucks take on Phoenix Raceway for the very first time? This 1 mile, relatively flat oval has provided some good racing for the other 1-Up Racing series over the years, and now it's time for the trucks to take on this track for the very first time in their history. And alongside me to bring you all the action for today's race is Ryan Griffin, the inaugural series champion. As per usual, there's a lot to dive into in this race. There's a lot of passing opportunities here, a lot of different lanes you can run in, a lot on the table for these drivers as we approach the halfway point in the regular season.
And this is also the point in the season where if you need to be starting to get good runs at this point, because we're halfway through the year, so the guys that are going to be competitors, and obviously the stories for this championship, have already made their presence known. So if you want to make your mark known and make a case, make a stake for this championship, you got to come in and you got to come in strong. And what better way to come in strong than to try to win on a track that this series has their first running on this track? So great opportunity here for somebody to maybe make their state, make their claim that we saw DJ Kurtis last week make his statement, hey, I'm going to be a title contender. Maybe somebody can make that statement today.
And looking at the starting lineup, I see no better option, no better choice to make that statement known today than our pole sitter, Angel Gutierrez, getting his first career pole in the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series. He's got Francois Chastain alongside him, and Chastain really needs to get his act together. He is currently 25th in the points after 6 races. He needs to make something happen if he's going to make the playoffs for a 3rd straight year. Brandon Smith lines up 3rd alongside the hometown superstar driver Ryan Soper, dipping down to the trucks for his home race, and rookie Cameron Lassard rounds out the top 5, just ahead of the 2 Fingai Saitomi trucks of Kurtis and Grigsby. So there's a lot of big stories to keep our eye on in this race, but like you said, these guys need to make their claims for a championship run, and I see no better fit for that role than Angel Gutierrez starting first place today.
Absolutely. I honestly think going into this, when we saw the times here for qualifying, to see that 72 up at the number 1 spot, I mean, this could be Angel's best shot to make that statement, make that claim. We saw last week DJ Kurtis made his claim by dominating and winning his first truck race. And Kurtis starts 7th, so we're going to see if he can carry that momentum. But yeah, this could be a major opportunity for Angel, and I think this might be. I got a feeling it could be his day. We'll see.
So with that being said, and of course, Angel Gutierrez did finish runner-up to Kurtis last week at Hillside, so he's got some momentum he wants to carry on as well. With that being said, we've got 42 trucks ready to take the green flag at Phoenix, and we're ready to bring you that action for 63 laps at Phoenix Raceway. The 1-Up Turbo Truck Series goes live next. Getting set for a big day here at Phoenix, potentially, for any one of these drivers getting ready to take the green flag. We are underway here at Phoenix. Ryan Soper from 4th place made a move up off the line, but he's going to stay tucked in behind the one at Chastain, as it looks like they're going to fan out 3 wide into turn 1. Gutierrez holding serve.
Gutierrez off to a good start here as we get through the first half lap. Looks like everybody relatively smooth. Nobody having any issues here on the first lap, and it looks like Gutierrez is going to come around here and lead this first lap. Again, had that runner-up finish last week, and I'm sure he badly wants that win, and given the speed we saw in qualifying, maybe this could be the day.
As you see the rest of the field fanning out 3 and maybe even 4 wide deeper in the field. As we look a little further back, this is the first side-by-side battle on track as Cameron Lassard tries to get past Ryan Soper, and he's going to bring DJ Kurtis with him in the 22. Kurtis, of course, won last week. Lassard had a rough outing at Hillside. Could this be the day he starts to turn his season around?
Well, Lassard has proven that he's been able to show speed this season, so maybe last week was just a blip on the radar as the truck on the move. Look at Brandon Smith now trying to take 2nd from Chastain here off the corner. Chastain got to hang on with a little help from the 0-0, a little drafting help from the 0-0 there down that straightaway. As the battle still continues on for 2nd, meanwhile Gutierrez continues to inch out ahead and pull away from the guys behind him.
Yeah, his lead is now about half a second between himself and the second place driver, which is now Brandon Smith in this 15. This is another driver who I think could make a big statement here today about running very well, if not getting that win. And I think he's in prime position to make that happen, as Lessard also clears Chastain to move up in the third place. We have 3 Robbers Racing entries in the top 5. Gutierrez leading, and Lessard in third, Soper in fifth.
Yeah, but Brandon Smith wants that lead as he looks to the inside now. Gutierrez, we've seen him already making passes on this part of the track. Seems to be the preferred lane, and it looks like Smith might be able to get it here coming around as we come around to the start-finish line. And I think he will indeed become our second different leader today.
By 2/1000ths of a second, Brandon Smith becomes our second different leader of this race. If this race had only been 5 laps, that would have been very special. But of course, it's not. We have 63 laps to run in this race, as it looks like Chastain is also making a move on Gutierrez. This is the second. Angel Gutierrez cannot let himself fall too far back. He needs to keep that 15 in his sights.
Yeah, but he's got pressure from that one truck, the Domino's machine of Chastain, and Chastain's one we really haven't seen Chastain run as well this year as the 2 seasons already, but you know, this could be the point where he turns around. A good top 5 run here could build momentum going into the rest of the season, and you know, making that way and trying to make a title run. And all it takes is one race. I said that before. I mean, you look at DJ Kurtis, he started in the top 10. He's currently running in the 7th, currently basically running where he started. He's running 7th, but you know, he's one that shows speed week in, week out. It's just one race could change it all, and obviously we can't help but overlook our one race runoff here of Ryan Soper, the hometown hero, making a one-up truck start here.
Yeah, and he's driving a Robbers Racing truck that has won already this season. You go back to Auto Club when J.D. Martin drove that truck to victory lane. But this is, I believe, one of Ryan Soper's only starts of the season. It might even be his only one. So he's got to make this count, and this is his golden opportunity in top-level equipment to make something out of this. He's currently being challenged by not only his teammate Lessard, but also by the 8 truck of Turzic.
Yeah, but I think the problem is Soper's in that top groove, which right now it doesn't look like the top groove seems to be the preferred groove. Everybody seems to be making passes down on the bottom, as we've seen coming out of, I believe this, I'm reading this right, out of the exit of turn 2. It seems to be the bottom seems to be the preferred lane, and if you get stuck to that high side, you really can't seem to make a move right now. And that's where we see a lot of these passes, how we see a lot of the passes we've seen already, including the pass we saw for the lead.
Yeah, but this may be a bottom feeder's racetrack for today, at least. But the question is, how much of a bottom feeding racetrack is it going to be? Are we going to see him hug that yellow line, or are we going to see him dip even below it to make passes on the racetrack? We've seen both happen here before, which will prevail here in the truck race. But right now, Brandon Smith just extending his lead out front. It's now 0.7 of a second between himself and Chastain, with the 3 Robbers trucks hot on his heels.
That's it. It looked for a second, too, that the lap previous, I saw Chastain was down there, yeah, and there he goes again, down below the yellow line, down on that little flat, which we have seen drivers use in other series here, right, running just below that yellow line, and there's a flat, the way the track is, the dog leg of the racetrack is just like you can come down flat and come back up, and we've seen people make time from doing that. But we'll just have to see if that really. I think at this point Brandon Smith has just got a faster truck than Chastain, and that's why he's pulled out. Well, actually, I say that Chastain has actually closed a 10th on him, so maybe Chastain is starting to run him down a little bit.
And I would be remiss if I did not mention that great move DJ Kurtis just pulled the lap before into 3 and 4, where he passed both Soper and Turzic down on the inside, has 2 of them in one corner to move himself up into the top 5. Now he's going to try and challenge Lessard for 4th, but he's up in that top groove, and that might open the door for the 8 truck to try and make his first move into the top 5 today.
Yeah, but we should keep an eye on this 22 truck. You know, they've really honestly been the bright spot, and I say this as a driver for the team in the National Series. They've really been the bright spot for FPM, and obviously getting the win last week was such a huge hurdle for him to get to victory lane and put that team say, hey, we're not we're not done yet. We're still here, and really want to see how he carries the momentum into this week. But man, these guys actually closed up on Chastain too. Chastain lost a bunch of time to the leader, and now he's under threat from both Lassard and Gutierrez. Maybe tag team here. And yeah, this big. I don't know what happened to Chastain, but Chastain lost a bunch of time to Smith.
Yeah, and I bet the Robbers teammates wish they had their third teammate, Ryan Soper, up there to help them out, but he's currently battling Brian Grigsby for the 7th spot. But Brandon Smith has just grown his lead more and more. It is now 1.7 seconds. And look at this Hornets nest behind Chastain. They're all fighting for the same amount of position on the racetrack. And if these guys keep fighting long enough, that's going to bring Audrey Anzac in the 3, Justin Whitmer in the 91, and perhaps even more contenders right to their back bumpers.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if the field accordion together here. Again, it looks like Chastain has been able to pull away from these guys a little bit, but it looked like for a second something slowed up Chastain, and they kind of accordioned all together, and now they kind of look like they've sorted it out. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how that happened and how that developed for a second.
Yeah, but well, look at Chastain. He's starting to stretch his advantage back out over Gutierrez and co. He is now half-second clear of this battle. As now we have a battle for the 10th position. James Ellison driving the 11 truck this week, going to the inside of Justin Whitmer in the 91. And there's the 4th Robbers Racing entry, Paul Villalobos in the 66, trying to see if he can't bust his way into the top 10, join his teammates up there.
Yeah, I mean, you feel for the 66 because it's like he's the lowest one of the others. The others up here running, top 5, easily top 10, and he's the one just trying to break his way into the top 10. So obviously there's a little motivation in him to try to get up there with the teammates. Because there's a good battle here between Terzic and Grigsby and Soper. So good racing all around, except maybe for the lead where Smith is kind of checked out on Chastain, almost a 2-second lead now. It's like 1.9, but man, everywhere else around the track they're having good racing except for the leader, who is just basically checked out.
Yeah, but remember, one caution can change all that in this race, and of course now we are in the window where if you were to pit right now, you'd probably be able to make it the rest of the race without having to stop again. I doubt anyone would want to do that this early on in the race. They probably want to get to about half race distance or more before they even think about pitting. As you see, the back of the field's about half a lap down now to the leader, Brandon Smith, who has grown his advantage. It is now well over 2 seconds.
You see, one of the things from last year to this year is that Brandon Smith was on that Kings Motorsports team that folded at the end of last year. And it seemed like to start this year that Smith was really not... I didn't quite see him like I saw him when he was with Kings Motorsports. But so far today, they've definitely put a run, at least so far. Again, we're only about a third of the way through the race. But so far today, again, we talk about making a statement. You got to make a statement because we're at the halfway point of this, and you got to start building momentum as we get closer to the playoffs. And Brandon Smith is one I've really been keeping my eye on. And so far today, he's definitely shown up today, as he's got almost a 2.2 second lead on Chastain.
Yeah, and the top 3 in this race are really all drivers I was hoping would make a big statement today at least, and for the rest of the regular season. This race marks the halfway point of the regular season, as Ryan Soper, of course, trying to help that 6 truck get into the owners' playoffs for this season. That truck doing a very good job in that regard. And don't look now, but Justin Whitmer's making his way up through the field. He passed DJ Kurtis for 8th place. He passed Audrey Anzac. He's starting to draw a bead on Brian Grigsby as well.
Yeah, but this is what you got to watch out for. You got to watch for the quote-unquote comers and goers, guys that, maybe didn't qualify well, but end up racing well, and obviously we're seeing that out of that 91 truck. That
yeah, here comes
he's
Whitmer
cracking his way
to
into
the
top
inside.
10,
Oh, they're leaning on one another. He sends the 92 up the track into the wall.
Oh, he's into him.
Grigsby into the wall, and a big crash touches off on the back straightaway. A huge pileup. Oh my goodness, here comes a big one here at Phoenix.
And I don't know how DJ Kurtis's teammate Grigsby's teammate didn't get caught up in that, because he was very close to getting caught up in that.
That very well could be one of the worst accidents I have ever seen in the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series. But that will bring out the caution for the first time today, and this is going to provide everybody else with an opportunity to make their pit stops.
Yeah, as they say, it's feeding time on pit road, as we're going to get all the leaders in here.
And look at all the trucks on pit road, likely going to be out of this race as a result of that incredible pileup and the exit of turn 2 early on down the back straightaway. It was really a blocked track. Oh, and Villalobos in the 66, he got a piece of that. He's not likely to...
Like I say, we were just talking about him and how his teammates were all running well, and unfortunately he's in this incident in turn 4. And I think you're right. I think it was just the initial incident, and then there was just this big pileup because the track was blocked. And I mean, we're going to look at it here momentarily and see exactly, although we kind of saw a little bit of it because we basically had our cameras on it when it happened, but we'll get more in depth in it here in just a little bit.
Looks like Brandon Smith will win the race off pit road. Gutierrez is going to lose a few spots.
Soper had a good stop.
As we get a replay now of what transpired in turn 2 to put us under the caution flag for a massive wreck on lap 25 here at Phoenix. And it all started near the front of the field. Justin Whitmer got his nose right up underneath Brian Grigsby. They got hooked together, nowhere for them to go, and then it just touches off a big pileup, and then the track starts to block itself with walls on either side.
Yeah, like I say, the bad thing with where when they came together, Whitmer and Grigsby, the bad thing was they came together and it just Grigsby's truck bounced off the outside wall and ricocheted back into the racing lane. And pretty much everybody trying to dodge and avoid, there really wasn't too many lanes where you could escape it.
And look at all these trucks just swerving to avoid everybody that got involved in this accident.
And you can see it again. You see Whitmer has a look. He gets to the inside and just kind of forces his way into Grigsby, and then Grigsby gets shot back. And you see the truck just bounces off the safer barrier right back into the path of the 11 and the 66, and then the track is just blocking. Everybody just piles into one another.
What?
Looks like a bunch of... Wow.
Andrew Lyons
like
he just flipped over 2 trucks to land on his roof on top of Jacob Buchholz. That is a scary accident.
There's one more look at it. Whitmore gets there, and it's like he almost committed to it, but Grigsby was already down enough to where he couldn't let out of it. Man, the 59, I think that was Hamill caught up in it.
Egwo Zhao entered this race 5th in the points. He's going to lose a lot of positions.
Yeah, Zhao, and it did that pile in turn 4. So it's just like a bunch of kids' toy trucks down there just tumbled around and flipped around, and you wouldn't think that for Phoenix, but...
And by sheer car count, that is the largest incident we have ever seen in the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series. 17 trucks eliminated from this race as a result of that accident. Santi Messi in the 57, Kyler Sustrai in the 97. They are 1 lap down, but still running. Everybody else still on the lead lap as we're going to get ready for a restart on lap number 30.
So yeah, just shy of halfway here, and pretty much a good chunk of the field gone because of that incident in turn 4. So we'll see what happens this time as Smith leads into the restart. Chastain looks like it's a good start with him.
But everybody else Everyone else struggling to get by the 57 and 97, who are laps down and just trying to get out of the way. Come down the back straightaway here, and it looks like Smith has an issue in the 15. He's on pit road. And James Ellison in the 11.
The leader's in trouble in Ellison, who looks like they removed the hood on that 11.
And we're hearing
leader.
We're hearing that pit stop was really fast on that 15. It was too fast. Loose lugs on the 15. They got to screw those back on, he's going to lose a lot of time here.
Well, we've said it before, how things can change in an instant. And, well, there you go. We had a big incident turn 4. We'll have to yell out, everybody come to pit road. And Smith's crew was just, oh, we got to yell out.
Again, yeah, for Sustry and Justin Browning and Justin Henley. So we've got 3 trucks involved in a second accident that puts us under caution. This is going to be good news, I think, for Brandon Smith and for James Ellison. Ellison will be the free pass, while Smith, I believe, just barely stayed on the lead lap. So good news for both those guys, honestly.
Yeah, well, the one that really helps is Smith, but man, how much the race could change in an instant. You know, we had that big incident turn 4, had a pit stop. Smith's crew must have just been a little too quick. And
so there is James Ellison. He's trying to find a way around these guys because he is the free pass truck, so he will get back on the lead lap. And they're showing Brandon Smith a lap down, although that was because the pace car picked up Chastain at a weird spot. But Smith will be on the lead lap. They will wave him by as well. He'll just be at the tail end with Ellison for the restart when we get it. But Chastain is your leader after a 3-car incident in, I believe it to be turn 4, where coming onto the dogleg straightaway. And here's Ellison finally finding a window to get around these guys to get his lap back. So yeah, looks like Sustry was just trying to stay out of the way, but it got a hook from Nate Champion in the 86. And then Browning and Henley just bystanders, nowhere for them to go. Same with Buchholz in his second accident of the day.
it looks like you can almost say it was similar to what happened there out of 4, and the fact that the truck that got spun got pushed right back into the racing lane, and they're trying to get around it. You can't get around it.
So 2 similar accidents, one in turn 4, one in turn 2. That will leave us only 22 trucks still on this racetrack, and Brandon Smith does get waved by because he was just barely on the lead lap when the caution came out. So he will line up at the tail end of the field along with James Ellison and the rest of the drivers at the tail end there. But this rash of cautions, it's opened up some opportunities to some people we haven't talked about yet today, who are populating the tail end of the top 10 now.
Yeah, well, I'd say the most notable, the first number I see there is the 3 truck sitting there in the 5th position. And then I'd say maybe the 84 and Samantha Jade, the 25, they're in 10th. But I think this is more interesting to see what Brandon Smith is going to do with this now. We saw what kind of truck he had out front.
But now he's in
traffic.
He
catches a lucky break, but he catches a break with the caution. He's still on. He gets back on the lead lap. He'll be at the tail end. He'll be tail end, but that's a bigger break than being possibly a lap down and not having any chance at winning that. So we'll see what kind of truck he has now. Now, obviously, we got the lead change. Chastain now the leader. We'll see what Chastain can now do out front.
So Brandon,
see if he can maintain a gap.
Yeah, Brandon Smith will restart this race in 21st place, and we're going to have just under 30 laps to go. It's not impossible for him to get back through the field, but he's gonna need to have a really good truck in order to make that happen. Because we've got some good ones at the front of the field now. Chastain, Soper, Lassard, Terzic, and Audrey Anzac, the top 5. We're getting ready for the restart, the second one of the day.
Yeah, but only one lap truck to the inside. Everybody else is on the lead lap.
And we're green once again.
In and Lassard got a good jump there in third.
He needs to clear the lap truck of Messi, and he does so. Let's see if he tries to make a move on his teammate, Soper, into turn 1. Looks like he's going to try and get a nose under the 6. He does. He might even go 2 for 1 here on Chastain.
Yeah, like I say, I think that 00 might be the strongest truck of the top 3. But he's got company, though. Here comes the 3.
And here comes Ryan Soper. The crowd's got to be loving that. Diving to the inside, trying to get the lead from Chastain, but he also had a tight exit out of that corner. He lost a little bit of time as a result. Still in second place, but now he's got a bigger gap to try and close it.
And look at the swarm now behind Chastain. You got the teammates battling for second. They're 3 wide for fourth. Kurtis, the 3 and the 8 of Terzic. And then also the 72 of Gutierrez is still in this fight as well. I mentioned the 25 is back there.
And Lessard now up to second, trying to chase down the leader Chastain. As you see, Brandon Smith is yet to make any real headway on this restart. The next truck up for him to pass is the 13, directly ahead of him.
We'll see. We'll just keep an eye on it because it's definitely just, we'll see what kind of truck he has. We know what kind of truck he had out front. We'll just see what he can do with traffic. As Kurtis is underneath the 3 for 5th. Gutierrez is going to try to follow him through. Or maybe he's going to try to make it 3 wide down here.
Yeah, he's going to try. Gutierrez has got to find a way to get back into this race. He restarted, I believe, back in like 8th position. Now he's already back at the 5th, but he's got pesky DJ Kurtis trying to fight to the outside. I think Gutierrez is going to win that fight, though. Gutierrez back into the top 5 now. But Lessard, you talked about him. He might have the fastest truck in the top 3. He's already chasing down Chastain. In fact, he's going down the inside here in 1 and 2.
Yep, the 00 for the lead here at Phoenix as they come off of turn 3, headed for turn 4 on the start-finish line. And I said it on the restart. It looked like Lessard really had a great restart. And he obviously got around his teammate the 6, and now he's after the leader in Chastain.
Cameron Lessard is another one of these drivers who has never won in the Turbo Truck Series before, or in any one-up series before. Remember, this is his rookie season, and in fact, this is only his 7th career start in the series. So can Cameron Lessard make something out of it now that he's got the lead for keeps from Francois Chastain, or will the 1 and the 6 try and work together to try and close that gap even more?
I don't know. We've seen it already happen. This lead is just a little bit. You know, it looked like we talked about Angel Gutierrez starting on the pole. It looked like he was going to be able to hold that spot. Then here comes Brandon Smith. Smith took that over, and then obviously just recently here, Smith had that issue on the pit stop, a loose lug nut, had to come to pit road. He did get saved by Yo, so he's not, a lap down or out of the race, but and then Chastain took over, and now it looks like Lessard might be the truck to beat, so who knows, maybe the one that actually ends up winning this race may not necessarily be the one up front.
But I would say, even not talking about the race win here, this has got to be a career-defining drive for Ryan Silver in this 6 truck. Sure, he got a top 10. He finished 6th in the Superstar race earlier this season, but that was at Talladega, and he'll say it himself, anyone can get a good result there. But this is a real driver's racetrack, and he's proving, given the right equipment, he can contend with the best of them.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been pretty much a top 5 truck at pretty much of today, and if anything, maybe latter half top 10, but definitely been a contender today, as it looks like Chastain has closed it back to Lessard, so not let that 00 get away, so not quite out of the realm of possibility that Chastain could still challenge for the win here, as we'll come to complete lap 45, which will basically be 18 to go.
And these are going to be the toughest 18, 17 laps of Cameron Lessard's life right here. Trying to hold off one of the best in the series, Francois Chastain. And behind them, Ryan Silver, who we know is going to go for a win here in his home track. But Lessard has got the measure of them so far. We'll see if he can hang on to it.
Here's the order that you're basically trying to tell Cameron Lessard to do. He has got to hold off the guy that is actually tied right now for 2nd on the all-time wins list in this series. For your first, to think about it.
Yeah, that's a daunting task for Francois Chastain, or for Cameron Lessard rather, to try and hold off Chastain for this race win. But Roberts Racing has trained him well. I wouldn't put it past him to use every trick in the book to keep this one truck from victory lane.
Absolutely, and I say this as being somebody who actually is tied for that spot with Chastain in this series, but Lessard, the order's ahead of him. He knows what he's got to do, and so far he's doing it at the moment. But man, big battle for 2nd right now. Turzik's Soper,
That's her
Kurtis,
third.
and Gutierrez.
And Kurtis trying to close in as well. But I would not discount, and this is going to be another good feel-good story for Ryan Soper. Not only is he running in the top 5, both the trucks he owns for G4 Motorsports now running in the top 10. Jeremy Frey runs 9th. Logan Jones in the 84 runs in the 10th position. And here's Frey making a move on Samantha Jade. That's for 8th spot. So Ryan Soper having a great day as both a driver and a team owner.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's on two fronts for Soper. Not only are you running well in the race, but both your trucks are running well too. So that's got to feel good for him.
But although he is losing a few positions on track to DJ Kurtis and Angel Gutierrez, he may fall to 6th at the back of this line. He's got plenty of gap back to Audrey Anczak to slot in line and try and fight for more positions. As we now come to 13 laps to go, Lessard holds the lead, and it's only getting bigger from here.
We'll see if he can try to hang on. I mean, it's going to be the toughest 12 laps he's driven. And the biggest thing you got to do at this point is don't do anything to give it away. Right now, he's done everything to this point to get himself in this position. Now you just have to just be calm and try to do everything in your power to just maintain the gap you have. Although the truck that's really on the move, I think, is Terzik's, as he is continuing to close to this one truck, and so is DJ Kurtis. So the 8 and the 22 might be trying to put a late race charge together here.
And them battling Chastain for that second position, that is exactly what Cameron Lessard wants to see. He wants them to be battling hard for that runners-up spot so he can go run away and hide for the remaining 11 laps of this race.
As much as it would be nice to see a first-time winner, Lessard, I don't think it's quite over. This 8 truck and this 22, if they don't get to battle each other, there still could be a battle for this win here before we know it. I mean, they've got the lead, right? Basically, it's about a half a second. It's about half a second and then basically half a tenth. So we'll have to see if these two can close on Lessard once they clear Chastain.
And in the process of clearing Chastain, the gap has grown to 0.8 of a second between Lessard and Terzic. So there's only 10 laps to go, coming to 9 at the line. So they can't afford to waste any time trying to get to the 0-0 and then try and set up a pass, because while you can plan how long it takes to catch a truck and get close to their bumpers, passing them is a whole nother story because you don't know what they're going to do to defend.
You see, I think what's going to happen is exactly what I said. If they didn't get to battling each other, I think they may have had something for Lessard, but it looks like Kurtis and Terzic are just going to battle each other, I think, for the second position. I think Lessard might be in the catbird seat here. I think he might be looking at that, changing the goose egg in the wind column.
And look how close Kurtis and Terzic were at the line. 2 1,000 separating them from second place, but Cameron Lessard's driven a brilliant race, and sure, maybe Brandon Smith had the best truck here, and maybe he could have won this race if it weren't for that pit stop issue. We'll never know, as Lessard now comes up to put Jacob Buchholz another lap down in this 10 truck. That could play a factor as well. If Buchholz holds up Lessard in any way, that could draw Kurtis and Terzic right back to him.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think those two were more concerned with racing each other at this point. And I'm surprised because it looks like Kurtis was making that outside work, which we hadn't really seen all day. So maybe that outside was just coming in here late. But 6 laps to go, Lessard. We got 6 to go. He's just got to clear this lap truck.
Although I wouldn't
pretty much with about a 0.8 of a second lead. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though if he catches Messi in the 57 again, maybe one more. So his fight's not over yet, as Terzic now has to deal with the same lap traffic that Lessard did, and that should allow Lessard to get a bigger gap once again on the battling trio of Terzic, Chastain, and Kurtis. Yes, he gained back all the time he lost on the previous lap.
Yeah, that's why I think at this point, these guys are basically battling each other for second. I think Lessard, as long as he can keep basically the wheel straight, I I think he's going to come out the one here, but the big battle is back here, and this is where the excitement is. Chastain, Turzik has it, but Chastain, Kurtis, and Gutierrez are trying to see if they can get it away from him.
And we only have now 4 laps to go to try and make something happen, although with Lassard 1.3 seconds out in front, he may be out of reach. But now we've got a fantastic battle between these 4 trucks from second back to 5th. And don't look now, but if these 4 trucks come together or have an issue late in this race, Ryan Soper is there to capitalize.
And Soper, if these guys get bottlenecked up, Soper could jump in there and gain a couple of spots out of it. So nothing's over by any stretch of the imagination. We still have 3 to go.
As Lassard now does lap Messi in the 57, and I wouldn't be surprised if he comes up to put James Ellison a lap down once again by the time this race ends, such as the pace difference between the 11 and the 00, coming now to 2 laps of racing to go.
Again, I can speak of somebody who's been there. Lassard is probably, at this point, he's hearing every little noise, every little creak, every little piece of metal. He's hearing every little thing that truck is doing at this point.
Last week too.
Yeah. So, it's funny because with Lassard out here, Kurtis in the battle, if Kurtis could get second from Turzik, we could have the guy who won the first one last week finish second this week.
And now we only have 1 lap of racing remaining from Phoenix Raceway. Cameron Lassard has put on a great race, and we may never know if Brandon Smith would have had the truck to beat. I guess that's going to be one that got away for the 15 team, as Jacob Miller hits pit road late. But coming through 3 and 4 for the final time, it is going to be Cameron Lassard picking up career win number 1. He does it at Phoenix, but gives Robbers Racing a great day out in the desert. First career win for the Canadian.
How about it? Back-to-back first-time winners in the series. So it must be the trend, I guess. If you're looking for that first win, maybe next week could be your week.
I'm considering that the Nitro National Series had 6 first-time winners in a row to start the season. Could that streak continue tomorrow? We'll find out then. But Turzik brings it home second, a great run for him. Kurtis third, Chastain and Gutierrez complete the top 5. Ryan Soper, 6th place, great day for him. Audrey Anzac 7th, and then here comes the D4 Motorsports duo of Frey and Jones, 8th and 9th. Fantastic for that team in their home race, and Justin Whitmer just barely edged out Samantha Jade for that final spot in the top 10. But that was a race we're not going to forget anytime soon, either for Cameron Lassard getting his maiden win or for that catastrophic crash that brought out caution off of turn 2 earlier in the race. We can report now that all drivers have been checked and released and are going to be fine after that accident. But what a day it's been from Phoenix, though.
Yeah, the track never ceases to amaze me that it's a relatively newly redone facility. It's a facility that's been here for a while, but it's relatively recently redone in this configuration. But man, it's the Truck Series does not disappoint.
No, it certainly does not. And for Cameron Lassard, it definitely didn't disappoint him today. He is gonna be celebrating in Victory Lane here today in the Turbo Truck Series. But that is going to do it for us from Phoenix today. From Ryan Griffin and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Phoenix. Our next race will be in about 3 weeks' time when we head out to California at the tight half-mile Irwindale Speedway. Our first time tackling that short track in the Truck Series. We hope you'll join us for that as well. But until then, so long from Phoenix, and congratulations to Cameron Lassard. He survived the carnage to score a very big and very important first career victory in the series.